And there's no one that's gonna do it for you. That's the hardest part. When you're just a first time owner and it's your first business, like there's nobody to help you. Like you're the guy. Like you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. People are always asking me, is it worth the risk to start a business? And they also want to know, like, what the steps are that I had to take to do this. I'm gonna tell you right now, the risk is nothing to overestimate. I mean, you're literally taking probably your life savings, which I did. I took my entire life savings, I saved up a ton of money, and I'm putting it all in one project. And if that project fails, I lose everything. I'm starting from scratch, and I'm completely starting over at whatever age I was. And I happen to be 33, so I've taken my entire complete life savings, piled it into this project, and if it goes away, if it doesn't work out, I lose everything. Like everything. This is no joke. And you can even have your house tied to it because you're probably gonna have to do a personal guarantor. So when you're a personal guarantor to the loan, that means you're doing your personal assets, which is your house, your car, all your assets. So not only are you losing your entire life savings that you risked to do this, you're also risking all of your other assets too. So you're basically gonna be starting from zero at whatever age you're doing this. And that's a lot to stomach. And that actually was the hardest thing for me to come to grips with is, do I risk all this money and do this? Or do I just pass on it and keep working a job for somebody else? The next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna look for a location. And I'll tell you right now, there's an old adage, everybody says location, 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 and it's 100% true. If you find a good location, you will be successful in business if you're doing the right things. If you find a bad location, there's nothing you're gonna do that's gonna overcome that. So location is paramount in any business. It's not just laundromats, or it's anything. Like you want to have the right demographic, the right people that's going to support what you're trying to do. And also saturation. I mean, if I were to build a laundromat that was inside of like 6 other laundromats, that's probably not going to do very well. You want to pick a place that has a need and doesn't already have it as a supply. There's a lot of factors when you're going to a location. Like I had to pick a poor building that wasn't in very good condition, and it was in an actual poor area because I couldn't afford to go buy a $2 million building. So I had to start off with a $300,000 building. When you buy a $300,000 building, there's gonna be a lot of problems with that building. It's not gonna be ready to go. So I actually had to put another $300,000 in it just to be able to have it ready to become a laundromat. So I had $600,000 into this location before I even had any equipment or a door to even open to let people in. There's commercial realtors and there's residential realtors. You gotta find yourself a commercial realtor. They'll actually know the space. And there's also different websites. Like a lot of people go to realtor.com, which is homes. There's commercial realtor sites, LoopNet, and you actually have to go to those, and it'll just be commercial property. You won't find any homes on there. It'll be everything that is commercial property for sale. They'll have retail, industrial, everything, like hospitality. So you're gonna probably be looking for retail if you're doing what I'm doing. But like if you're in the hotel business, you're gonna do hospitality. They'll show you everything in the area, and you can do however many miles, and they'll tell you what's available. In regards to location, you actually need to go boots on the ground, actually drive the areas and make sure that it's actually what you want. I wouldn't trust it all to a realtor. You need to do your own checking with your own eyes. And I pull demographics from 1, 3, and 5 miles, so I know exactly what's in there. So you don't really know if it's worth the money. Like the first time, like you could be thinking you're doing it right, but you know shit. You don't know shit. You maybe talk to some people that are experts, but you still have this thing in your pit of your stomach that you actually don't know if it's gonna work or not, and you can't know. There's no way to know. Matter of fact, when I started my first location, if someone would have built like a 5,000 square foot laundromat 2 months later right next to me, they would have crushed me. I would never have been, and if they had deeper pockets, they could have done lower pricing and just ran me out of business. So there's nothing that's 100%. There's no slam dunk. There's no way you're gonna, if anybody ever tells you that it won't fail or can't fail, they're lying. Like nobody can know that. You have to take the risk. And like I said, you hope it works out. And I've been lucky enough that I'm 6-0 finding good locations. I'm actually 8-0, but I sold 2. But they did make money. They just didn't make enough that I thought it was worth all the resources that we were putting into it. Anybody that tells you that's 100% slam dunk is fucking lying to you. There's no such thing in this world. So if you find the location and you actually you've swallowed the risk and you're ready to take all this money and throw it down on this property, there's another huge hurdle that you have to overpass. You probably only have 20% down like I did, which I did only have 20% down. So I had to find a bank that was gonna agree to do the other 80%. Well, bank looks at you or me and the first time deal, and they don't have any trust in us. We have no track record, and they don't know they should even risk giving us the 80% because they also know that it's some crazy number, like half of small businesses fail within 5 years. I actually think it's more than half. So you're literally going in there and you're trying to sell the banker. So you're trying to sell the banker, and then you're trying to find an architect. If you do sell the banker, you still haven't even started yet. You got to go find an architect to work on that building. You got to find a crew, a general contractor that's going to oversee the repairs of the building. So you're literally just getting started. Like you still have an infinite amount of things to do. And there's no one that's going to do it for you. That's the hardest part. When you're just a first time owner and it's your first business, like there's nobody to help you. Like you're the guy. Like you have to do all the decisions. You have to meet the bank. You have to meet with the contractors. You have to meet with the architect. You have to try to decide what you want. And you've never done it before, so you're meeting with an architect trying to come up with a layout, and you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. And the architect thinks he knows, but they actually don't know your business, because I had an architect trying to make too big of rooms for this and that, and they just had it all laid out wrong. And even me just going to other laundromats knew that this guy wasn't doing everything right. But we finally got together, we had a layout, and then we finally got it finalized, got all the city permits, did everything else, got the zoning. And like I said, it's all you. Like I had to go down to the zoning department. I didn't have someone to do that for me. I did have someone who does it for me now. I have someone that even deals with my architects and my GCs. But I had to do all of that stuff. Like it's you running the whole show, doing everything, all by yourself, with no help, no support. And that's the thing too, like I think that people don't really, you're just talking about the money risk and people think that's hard, but I'm risking everything. And I'll even say, like you get to this point, I still have tons of risk because we have over 40 employees that they have families and they depend on us for paychecks. Like if I fuck this up and destroy it, this whole thing craters around there, those 40 people are affected. Like it's a lot that you have to carry. And even the buildings, like we have buildings, like I own those buildings. So we're responsible for the repairs, the maintenance, all of it. Like it falls on me. Like everything at the end of the day falls on me. And do I have great people that support me? I 100% do. And I would never say I don't. But it's still at the end of the day, those people could leave and find another job, and then I'm the guy who falls on. So you have to be able to wear every single hat, shoulder every single problem, and problems come up. When you're starting out, there's an avalanche of problems. They're coming at you every single day. You don't even see them coming. You've got to take every single one of them. And I actually think that's a big reason a lot of small businesses fail, because people are just they're not prepared to take the avalanche, because it'll punch you in the face and it'll wear you down. You just got to keep getting back up. And I've actually said this in other videos. I got knocked down so many times, and you just keep getting back up. And sometimes it's even hard to get back up. Sometimes you even ask yourself, why am I getting back up? But I do think if you just keep getting back up and you keep learning, you eventually will learn. And the fact is, I made tons of mistakes when I started my first business, but I learned from all of them. I didn't punish myself, and I didn't beat myself up, and I didn't hate myself for doing it. I just looked at it just like anything else in life. I paid to go to college. I was paying to get a learning experience how to start businesses, and it cost me a lot of money, but I got through it, and now I know quite a fucking bit. Now I hardly ever make a mistake, but I still do. But you get to a point where you just start making the right decisions and stop making the wrong ones, and then everything gets a lot easier. I'll even tell you this, like it's hard to get people to find your business, and there's obvious ones like Google. Almost everybody, when they want to find food or they want to find anything, Google. So you got to get your business listed on Google. I did Yahoo and all that stuff on a lot of the early ones, but I'll even tell you signage. Like people have to actually see what the hell they're actually going to. So like I see these businesses and they'll put like a little sign, or they put a paper sign. I buy channel letter signs. I spend a ton of money on signage. I actually have one store that has an $80,000 sign that's 80 feet wide behind it, huge giant LEDs. And I did that because there's a massive grocery store on the back side of the building, and as they pull in there, I want them to see that sign. And when they see that sign, it stands out too, because it's bigger than any fucking sign in the whole area. So it's just like this big LED bright light that is just like pulling all my customers like a moth to a flame to it. And like I said, I do that because people want to skimp on some of this shit that's the dumbest shit ever. Like marketing is not the place to skimp. And I get that everybody says like they don't understand why people have sales guys, blah, blah, blah. Sales guys are the fucking lifeblood of a company. I was a sales guy, and I understand that you have to market something and package it for people to buy it. Running a business when you're starting out is just an avalanche of stuff, because you're wearing every single hat. Like I'm paying the bills, I'm making the schedule, I'm doing the payroll. I mean, I'm everything. I mean, every single thing you can think of. If there's a problem with the roof, like I'm trying to fix it. If I can't fix it, I'm hiring somebody out. Like every single problem, building soup to nuts, people, personal issues, people not showing up to work, all of it, 100% of it falls on you. You're not going to be able to, I mean, if he's like, oh, I don't like to do that, I'll hire it out. How the hell are you going to hire it out? You have a business that's been losing money for 6 months as you're slowly growing customer, and you're slowly getting towards, but just losing money for 6 months. Like you think you're going to go find an accountant for $40,000 to do your payroll? It's not going to happen. It's not even realistic to even think about it. Like you literally have to learn how to do everything. Like, I mean, that's all I was doing all night, every night. I'd go home, I work my job, I go home, work my second job as this laundromat, and then I go home and start studying all this shit that I didn't know how to do, and sleep 4 hours a night, and then get up and do the whole thing over. I did that for 2 years. And I said, that's what beats people down, but I didn't let it beat me down. I just kept getting up, I just learned to live on 4 hours of sleep. Actually, to this day, I live on 4 hours of sleep. I just almost trained my body to only need 4 hours of sleep. But you wear every hat. Like any single thing that you can think of. Like look at a company that you're working at right now. You probably have an HR department, you have accounts receivable, accounts payable, all these different departments, right? All these departments work in the same building. Probably salespeople, all this stuff. That is what you are. Like there is nobody else. Like you may have an attendant, like when a laundromat, I hired an attendant to help me clean it. That's all I had. The rest of it, 100% fell on me. So think of everything that you have in the company that you go to work to today. That entire thing falls on you.